Welcome, guys, to my Golden Bachelor episode recap, season one, episode six. We are last week we're halfway there, but it feels like we're like there. Like this is it.
Almost.
Yeah,
End stretch, home stretch for sure.
yeah. So we did find out that we were thinking, oh, maybe not. There wasn't any fantasy suites. There will be fantasy suites, but there's also Women Tells All. So I'm excited, actually, really excited for the Tells All. I wonder if we're gonna get our Golden Bachelorette announcement.
I hope
Um,
so. I hope so.
yeah.
I really
So,
do. I really do.
um, but I was also excited for this episode because I really wanted to see how Gary and these women, like, were they going to go into this planning to like just jump in head first, or be tentative about it? And I feel like it was a lot of head first, which is why we're kind of got the ending that we got, right? So um we do start off, though. The episode starts with Gary talking to two little ones. It's a boy and a girl, and they say their grandma really likes him and he would fit in their family. And they were just so little, so cute. And so I was like, oh, are they showing them because they're like the littlest ones, or are they showing them because their grandma is the one he picked? Like,
I was like looking at that too, and I was like, I think they're showing them because they're the most precocious little kids. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like they were
Yes.
so extroverted, they were so excited, they were
yeah,
so able to be encouraged to be fun and do all these fun little things. So I think that's probably why they were chosen to have like this opening segment.
hmm,
I personally don't think it was related to who he chooses. I think they were just like the most animated.
yeah.
Yes.
They were
Because it's hard
very
to
cute.
get kids that are not like from this world
Uh-huh.
to like
Yeah,
talk.
talk.
Like
Yeah,
you see
mm,
some kids around their age, and like you're like smile
yeah,
at the camera, like
exactly.
like so. I think that they were just they're very excited and
Very, very. And asking all the right questions that little girl was.
Yeah. So Gary is off to hometowns, and he says that it's a little different because he will not be meeting parents. He will be meeting children and grandchildren. And we do see, like, I mean, he's also meeting sisters and brothers, which we normally see in a hometown anyway. So very similar, just a lot more little ones than we're used to seeing, I think, in
Yeah.
these shows, right?
Right.
yeah, and it's a little bit like, I mean, I get it. Gary's lovely, but it's a bit too put on for me. Like,
Hmm.
okay, let's be great granddad type. Like, I was
Yeah.
like you don't have to be that. I mean, yes, you do, but like, I don't know. It's a little bit put on for me.
Hi,
I know he has to be that
Debu.
way though. Hi,
Hi,
Dabu.
Taboo.
Yeah. So I can understand that, and also it's like the reason there might not be children on these shows is because their hearts are going to get as broken as their grandparents
It's
when
true.
they end this, and so it's a little concerning. It's a little concerning.
So with that point, then maybe it is the people that he picks is the one that they showed being so excited about Gary.
Yeah,
Whose
Leslie.
grandchildren?
They were
they with
Leslie's grandchildren.
Leslie. Yeah, yeah.
But
Uh,
I
Well, that's who I think he's
so
going to choose. So maybe you're onto
yes,
something.
he called her out
exactly.
first in the rose ceremony.
Yeah.
Uh, we'll get there. He says it's been years since he's met families. He's meeting Faith, Leslie, and Teresa's family. And first up is Teresa in hometown in Shrewsbury, New Jersey. I think Shrewsbury is south of me, but I didn't really look it up.
Okay.
Um, and so, but I know it's not someplace that I definitely recognize. And he says that he knows that they have a strong feeling. There is depth there, but how would they fit into each other's families? And we see Teresa run into his arms, and they sit and they talk about their connection. And this conversation, it's just so different. their connection, there's a connection there. I again, I
Right.
want to make that clear. I can definitely see their connection, but it's not, it's more of like, as it feels more of like if they've been married for 20 years already,
Right.
and they just like went left each other for a little bit and are coming back to each other and trying to figure out, is this the, is this like thing we had still there? Can we develop this and keep it going?
This might be a hot take, but I kind of think that Kathy sabotaged their spark, because as
Mhm,
soon as he placed that doubt, remember he's like, "Oh, that's gonna make
mhm,
me think things a little bit differently," and
mhm,
he still obviously gave it to Rose. He still has something for her, but I think that it kind of tainted the light that she was shining for him. Even if he doesn't believe Kathy, I think it just dulled her shine. And
mhm,
since then, it seems like she was just always trying to get back to where they were before Kathy made those accusations. And so I
Mhm.
personally think that Kathy shedding light on like how Teresa was being kind of dimmed it in the end.
yeah.
I
It
think you're right because I think the only thing they have is they're not making progress. He keeps referring to the time she touched his shoulder when he was driving. And so
mhm,
all they have is like that first date, like that
mhm,
small gesture. They
mhm,
don't have anything beyond that. He never refers to anything beyond that. That's what he focuses on his connection with her. Like they don't have these future moments or these other small moments like yesterday or last
mhm,
week or it's always that first date. It's just
mhm.
that.
I feel like emotionally, it's definitely gone through, like, down, right? Like the emotional connection, like that we feel like was so strong right off the bat. It's just gone down. And I just don't think there was a way to get it back. Her, and even just watching, if you watch this and then watch the other two's hometowns in hindsight, it's just totally different. And
Right.
it's not like it's possible that he doesn't still want to be with her, but it's just not the connection he has with the other two at all.
I agree. That's why
I
I'm
think
because
it's
I
Kathy.
don't understand why he's about to throw up. Like I understand him being sad, like he has to, but I just felt like the connection with the other two was just so obvious that I felt like
I
he
mean,
was gonna
it
be.
makes sense though. Like, again, I feel like with Teresa, he knows that they could have a good life together. He knows that they could be comfortable together. With the other two, they're a little more exciting. They're a little more different. Leslie, he's not anything that she ever dated before. Faith wants him to move to Washington. Like, there are things, right, that would make their connections, um I think, a little more scary, whereas I feel like with,
Exciting.
and exciting, but whereas with Teresa, I think her connection is just it's the sure bet. You're giving up the sure bet.
Now, I'm also like, want to know what you guys think about the fact that Teresa is the most astrologically aligned with him. So she's
Mhm,
another Leo. And I don't believe that Faith or Leslie have like are a good match astrologically for their sun sign. Because
mhm,
it's a Pisces and
mhm.
what's Leslie again?
um I thought one of them was, because I thought when we looked it up, we are like,
I
oh.
think Faith is a Pisces, right? Faith is the Pisces.
I think this is a Pisces if I remember correctly. Okay, hold on. Yeah, oh, and Leslie is a Capricorn. So it could be this, they're both very different, and so like that is exciting and alluring. But
Mhm,
I'm wondering though, long term, if Teresa might be the better
mhm,
option. Just astrologically, sun sign.
mhm.
Hmm.
Now, sometimes though, with like how these signs play out, it takes a long time for them to start not enjoying some of the attributes of the signs that are not perfect matches.
I
So
have
yeah,
faith
they
as
might
a
have
Leo.
time.
I have Faith as is a Leo.
Faith is not a Leo.
In Bachelor horoscope, she has Faith as a Leo.
Hmm. If Faith is
Faith
a
as a
Leo,
Leo.
that changes a lot for my thought process. But I thought Faith was a Pisces. Let's see if it's well. This is. Hmm. Anyways, go on.
Okay. So yeah, so with but that's what I'm saying. I feel like with Teresa, she is the more homey of the, not as homey as in friend, but like just comfortable decision, and making that decision out the box is going to make Gerry uncomfortable. And so yes, he's literally having to either, or if it's, unless it's not, he's giving up Faith. And I mean, the fact that it came down, if it's true and it came down to two Leos, he's literally giving up his two strongest connections, probably.
For
um
Leslie, 'cause it's something different. Yes, you're correct. Well, according to Bachelor Wiki,
mhm,
Faith is August 10th and Teresa's August 4th.
yeah, so
So how come she didn't celebrate her birthday in the house?
maybe she
That's
did,
weird.
and
Or maybe it hasn't come up yet.
No,
See
no,
what the
because
it's
timeline
March.
is.
That's
Teresa's
6
birthday
days
was the
apart.
night of the night they arrived.
Right. So it's
So
only
6
six
days, yeah,
days
6 days
apart.
have gone by then. Hmm.
Yeah. um
Maybe they didn't show it.
Yeah, so
Maybe.
maybe they just
Maybe.
didn't show it. Like maybe she didn't want to, or maybe
Well, she
like
remember she does always do that thing like, oh, I'm not like everybody else, and so maybe she just didn't share it,
yeah, or yeah,
or
like
maybe
I
she
can see
did and
that.
it wasn't like a
Or
happy
is that
event.
why she was crying one time? It's like my
Or
birthday and he
I
didn't take me on
wonder
a date.
when's
Like
Gary's birthday, because we did see Gary's birthday like that same week too.
his
Um,
birthday was 2 days after Teresa's.
So maybe they were
Remember?
just like
too many August
too
birthdays.
many August birthday.
Hold on, when's
Yeah.
Gary's birthday? Just to double check. Come
Uh,
on, Gerry.
so yeah, so they sit and they talk about their connection, and she says she hasn't brought any men to see her family before this, which is a big deal. So Gerry is going to meet Teresa's sisters, her daughter, and her son-in-law, and her three grandsons. And they do come in. They're very excited, and they tell the story of her entrance, and it's her with the birthday suit on, and he's like
Mhm.
trying not to look below, and very,
This is
very
cute.
cute. Yes. And Teresa's daughter says it's different seeing her mother dating, but she encouraged her to go on the show, and they seem very smitten. Teresa's sister says she really likes him, and she says to them, um, she's 70 competing with 60-year-olds, and they're like, I don't think age is a factor, but they can see that she's really happy. Did you think age was a factor in this?
I mean, I could see it a little bit. Like 10 years is still
Yeah.
10 years,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
could see it. I could see it. And when
Uh,
you've lost one spouse, sometimes you might think like if you get somebody younger, you wouldn't have to go through that again. Not that that's the case, but logically sometimes your mind plays those tricks on you because anything can happen to anyone at any age. But you say to yourself, I don't want to live through that again. So maybe if I get somebody younger than me,
mm,
that might. So I can understand where she's coming from.
okay, that's a thought. I
I
didn't
mean,
even
it's
think
kind of
about
like,
that.
do we want to compete with the 30 somethings? Like, no.
I
No,
don't.
I want to be the
I
youngest.
don't.
no.
Right.
It's very funny because I always say it, like people are like, oh, like all these dating shows is women our age dating 20-year-olds, and I'm like, why am I competing with my daughter's age group for a guy?
Right.
Like, keep the guy. It's bad enough trying to compete in 30-year-old. Please, it's bad enough competing with, I see on dating app, 50-year-olds talking about they're ready to have children still, and I'm just like, huh, no, like, it's over, not happening. So yeah, so I didn't even think about it, but I guess at any age it's a factor. It's always
Hmm.
gonna be a factor. And to me, like Teresa's just as beautiful as Leslie and Faith. Like I didn't even think about it, to be fair too. Um so Teresa's grandsons do say she's lonely. And it would be great if they got married. I was like, oh my God, these kids talk too
Oh,
much. And then they imitate her doing selfies in her phone
with her duck lips, with her
with her
duck
duct tape, which I thought was so funny.
lips.
Uh, and so Gary starts imitating her as well. It was very cute. Teresa's daughter, Jen, does talk alone with Gary, and she asks what he likes about her mom. And he does give a really good explanation of what he sees in Teresa. And he said it. He said she's an amazing person. So I don't think he's overlooking her in any way. I think that's why she has come down to this spot. Um, but Jen wants to know what they will do to meld their family. She's like, she's over here every day. How will that look? And Gary says, well, to the right person, you will figure that out. And she says that she will allow her mother that. And I was like, yeah, that is concerning because I forget where Gary lives, but feel like that is going to be a concern for all three of these women in general. Like, how does it look when your partner does not live in the same area and you are so used to being, for Leslie, she's a single mom. For Faith, I think she also was a single mom, and so they
Mhm.
are the steady in their children's lives, let alone their grandchildren's lives, right?
Right,
And for Teresa, no, she may not have been a single mom, but her husband passed away, and so that's the only grandparent in their formative years that they're going to be remembering. So kind of
right,
taking that away, it is important to think about, right? So I understand her feeling like, oh wow, I didn't think it was going to get this far, and now, oh my God, that means that maybe she won't be here when I need to drop the kids off, or
right.
when the boys ask to see her. Yeah, you know what I mean.
That'll be an adjustment. Yeah, of
It's going to
course.
be an adjustment, but she asks him if he's falling in love with her mother, and he doesn't answer. He didn't answer.
Yeah, I was
No,
definitely found that how he non-answered to me was that he
wasn't
wasn't
answered.
choosing her. Um, because like he could just be like he could say what he said, but in a way that made him think that like I just think that he didn't like lying.
Yes,
Um, and I think that he knows that he's not going to choose her,
yes.
and he was just trying to get out of it. But I don't think he did it very well,
Me
personally.
neither. For Gary, I don't think he did it. Like, he's usually really good at expressing things, and I think the fact that he does not want, like, it's come to this intimate connection, like, area where I just don't think he wants to lie, but I also don't think that he knows exactly how not to come off as a liar. Right? And so,
Right.
it's sad because you could just see it, like, and especially then you go to the other hometowns, you're like, oh yeah, he's not, Teresa's not the one.
Thank you. That's what
And
I'm saying. That's why
Unless
I
it's
thought
like a
it
huge
wasn't going to
misdirect.
be as hard. That's why I felt like it wasn't going to be as hard because I thought you're very vocal with these other two. You know you're not in love with her. You're just trying not to hurt the feelings and not to lie and all of this stuff. So that's why I thought it wasn't going to be I'm going to be sick to my stomach and all of this stuff. I just didn't think it was going to be this because I thought in his heart of hearts it was obvious to him.
well, I mean, he says this there. He does later tell her that he has stronger feelings for her after she says she's falling in love for her, and he does ITM that he thinks that he's falling in love with her, and then he does say that he's in love with three women. Going, like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, so it's not like he started off this way, but he didn't end up that way, and he does later ITM how much he's falling for her. I feel like in a more stronger way than he expressed to her daughter here. So I think it's that. I think it's also, again, Gerry wants to be the knight in shining armor. I don't see this man wanting to hurt anybody's feelings,
Yeah,
regardless,
for
and
sure.
especially a woman, regardless of if he knows that she is not the one for him. He knows that he's not he's going to pick. He's not going to want to do that to her, regardless, knowing that she has feelings for him. So, um, he does talk to her sisters, and they say that he seems genuine and he's bringing her happiness, and they appreciate that, and he appreciates that they see that. Teresa and her daughter talk, and Jen says he seems like a catch, and she tears up saying seeing them both finding love again, it's a lot, but like she sees that it doesn't displace the love and the marriage and everything that her mom had with her husband, her dad.
With her dad.
um
Yeah.
yeah. um and the grandsons ask if he's gonna be the new papa. And Gerry says, for the family, they were really welcoming and warm, and he would love seeing himself be within this family. And Teresa and Gerry go out, and she tells it. And then this is the other thing. It's like, I feel like the other two, we either didn't see their dates, but like they went on this date. She says, "I'm in love with you." There were fireworks. They're on a Ferris wheel. Like, I get it. I get it. I get it. So he says that he's fallen in love again. He's in love with Teresa, and he could complete her, and she could complete him. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like at the end of this, he was like, that was even better than, like, maybe I am in love with her. Maybe this is it. And then he went on the other 2 days and realized no. Like, I think that's probably what happened.
It's probably what happened. I think that the other two women he seems to have a bit more of a sexual attraction to, and I think that that's
Absolutely.
what the issue is. I think that he could, as like you said, have a really great life with Teresa. I think that they would enjoy being together, or their families I think would mesh from what I've seen. I think that they'd enjoy their time together and it would be lovely.
Hmm.
But if he's looking for a more of a well-rounded kind of relationship
And
in
yeah,
these later years,
yeah.
he has a little bit more of that sexual energy for the other women.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a lot to do, which is, I just want people to understand. Understandable. Understandable.
Yeah.
Understandable. Sorry. Like this is the point of the show, to let us know. Seniors are sexual. We know seniors in
Yeah.
old folks' homes still having sex with each
Isn't
other.
Yeah.
isn't it's the STD capital?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
Is
it
it's
is.
old age homes? I'm like,
Because they don't
excuse
use
me, Grandpa.
protection. Right.
yes. So
Yeah.
it's very understandable that's a factor for him. And while, yes, you want there to be someone to comfort, like take care of you, comfort, you also, like, if I still want to or can have sex, I still want to be
Right.
sexually attracted to that person.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Faith is up next. I mean, I say this, I know a lot of people in my age group, they even try to throw that out the window, right? Like, eh, maybe that's not the biggest thing. Like, other things are like comfort. They can pay for my lifestyle, blah blah blah. And for me, that is not. That's not going to work. Right? So
You still
I,
want to be attracted to them.
yeah,
Like, it's
yeah,
not everything, but I still like, and when I get the urge, I still want to be attracted to you enough
yes,
that I don't want you to cover your face while you're doing it. Like, I want to still be, turned on by you. I mean, it's not
And
everything,
I'm
no, because
wondering
nobody.
if Teresa has kind of shut off that part of herself
right.
because like she doesn't, not that like you see that Leslie leads with it still a little bit, right? Like she's
Leslie
still,
leads with it, absolutely, which no problem. I, like it. Faith, I don't feel like leads with it. He's
but she
just,
still exudes it a little bit. Like she has it.
yes. She
And
just
I'm
has it.
wondering, could this be because they're a little bit younger?
Yes.
Possibly.
And they've been
Possibly.
single all their lives. So they might be used to being flirty. When
True.
you're single and you're more free, you're
Yeah.
used to being flirty. You've had more experience dating more,
Yeah.
versus somebody who was in a marriage and was only with one person and then he passed away.
Yeah.
So you haven't really been using your feminine wiles, like to,
Yeah,
butter up the
she's
people.
understands partnership as opposed to
Right.
relationship.
Right.
Um, hmm,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Very interesting. So Faith is up next, and Gary says that he will be putting his feelings for Teresa aside to focus on Faith. And they are in Benton City, Washington. Very rural, she says. She rides horses to the store, and she's very passionate about horseback
Girl, when she
riding.
said she rode horses to the store, I said, I know they in the country. I know it.
Well, you know what? There are some, I don't know if she's from this kind of community, but Mennonite communities still like not far from big cities that
Hmm.
have horse and carriages and
Hmm.
buggies and like no electricity. Like
Hmm.
it's
I mean, there's a ton near me, and
okay,
in
yeah.
Pennsylvania, but there are towns in even Jersey that where people still ride horses, ride them to the store because the town is that small.
Miss Tijo, you look shocked.
I mean, I knew maybe like Amish communities, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
Mennonite,
Like,
Amish for
but
sure. They're
but
probably those
okay.
communities as well that we're
Hmm.
talking about.
Yeah,
It's shocking to see it though. You're just like, okay.
yeah. And so she says she's very passionate about horseback riding, akin to his feelings about pickleball. And now I was like, is he going to be able to play pickleball in Washington? Is there a pickleball in Washington? Is he going to have to give that up because it's too
No.
rural? Like, or he has
Oh,
to, a team is not close enough for him. He's going to have to go back home to like play with his team, like things like that. That's a lot of traveling in your older years.
wait, do we know where Gary's from again?
I don't. That's what I was saying before. I don't.
I thought it was Vermont, but I'm like, I'm probably wrong. Maine, I don't
Hold
know.
on.
Something.
And so you were right though. His birthday's the 7th, so that's 3 days after Teresa's and 3 days before Faith's.
Dates go right in the middle, and they were probably like,
One day after Teresa.
they were
Oh,
like too
Teresa's
many
the 6th,
birthdays.
not the 4th?
Teresa's the 6th or the
I thought
4th?
she was
I
the
don't know.
4th. But anyways.
Okay, she's the 4th.
But after, anyways, regardless. He is from Indiana. Hudson, Indiana.
Okay.
So he's closer. Is he closer to? I think he's closer to Leslie.
I don't know the states very
Yeah,
well.
I
If
think
it's not coastal.
Minneapolis. Minneapolis is closer to
Indiana.
Indiana.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
That's Minnesota.
yeah,
Close
it's
to
an
Indiana.
hour flight.
Our flight's nothing. That's like a 5-hour drive.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty close, to be honest.
Uh, Actually, this says 2-hour flight.
Oh, that's a bit further.
Yeah, and it's a 12-hour drive, but still not bad.
That's okay.
Yeah, I think that's
That's
definitely
like me
closer.
driving to New York.
Yeah,
A
I
little
think
bit
that's
longer.
closer to than Washington.
Mhm.
Mhm.
They get the RV. They go see the grandkids and the kids. Let's get on. Let's get on and go.
Yeah,
Not bad.
I mean, Gary's grandchildren, I think, are also older, right? Like they're in their teens. Oh yeah, no, it's
Right.
like 31 hours to Washington, by car.
So that's for Faith, correct?
Yeah, for Faith.
Yeah.
And so yeah, no, he definitely would be closer being in Minnesota if he was at all. If that's even what she wants to do, is stay in Minnesota. We didn't really. I
I
don't
mean,
think.
maybe she was in that house.
Yeah, we don't even really. I don't think that from her if she had a problem to move or. Um. So yeah. So she said she was worried about getting him on a horse. She was worried about him getting thrown, but he was really comfortable. He got on that horse.
He
And
was.
the trick to getting on a horse is like you have to be confident. and he like got on the horse, and then you just have to like let whoever like tell you how to control the horse, and he did a really good job.
Have you both been horseback riding?
I have. I've been in California. That was fun. I was on the mountain, and my horse decided it wanted to do whatever it wanted to do and not listen to
Oh
anybody.
boy.
So I'm on the edge of the mountain, and the horse is just trying to go in front of the guide. Yeah, it's fun. He's yelling at me. I'm what, 16? He's yelling at me. I'm like, what do you want me to do? This is my first time horseback riding. Like, come on.
I mean, that must have been kind of scary,
It was.
but like that's very funny though. Like,
Yes.
I can't control this horse, and they're yelling at you.
I'm like, what do you want from me?
Exactly.
Control your own horse. He should be able to listen to your commands.
Exactly.
And funny enough, my daughter took horseback riding lessons here for many years. And so she's done horseback riding. Really liked it a lot. Yeah, so I wouldn't say it's my first thing to do, although I did want to like do the horseback riding in the ocean in Jamaica, just to see how it is. But
I
other
wanted to
than
do that too. I've done it in Aruba, like, but
Mhm,
not in the water, but just in
mhm,
Aruba. Like,
mhm,
I love horses.
mhm,
I love horses. My great uncle, he had a farm and a horse. So I do love horses. I miss that. Yeah.
yeah. How about you, Chantel?
I have a few times, like for a friend of mine's bachelorette recently. One of the days, like we went horseback riding, so like that was pretty fun. And another time, a little bit longer ago, with a group that I was working with, we on like a Sunday, we all decided to go horseback riding, and so we had made like a picnic on the side where like we had like blankets, and like so after we have the horseback ride, we were gonna go have our picnic. And they never told us where we could not make our like
Picnic
little
area.
picnic area, right? They
Uh-uh.
never let us know if there's places that were off limits.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going on this tour, whatever, going around this whole big trail. And at the end, we start like galloping and we're kind of going at a faster pace. And the horses got kind of spooked because the blankets and stuff was not what they remembered and recognized, like from the trek that they always are doing. So they all like are stumbling and falling over. So my horse actually fell over,
Oh
and I don't know
no.
how I did it, but I managed to kick my feet out of those stirrups and like roll out of the way, or that 2,000-pound horse
What's
would
going
have
to be on
smushed me.
top of you? Oh
It would
my
have smushed
God.
me.
Oh.
I nearly was smushed by a horse. But I was like, okay, I can't be scared of this right now. I'm getting back up on this horse, so I'm not afraid of horses. And so I got back on the horse, and I got back to, at the end of the trail, but I nearly got killed by a horse.
Wow.
Oh
That's
wow.
scary. Yeah, well, Gary does good here. He wasn't scared. And listen, I don't even know. Like, he's 70. If he had gotten thrown, that would have been also scary. Like,
Yeah.
ugh. But she says she thought her lifestyle would be a turnoff, and he says no, it's not a turnoff at all. He's like, and the biggest thing is their connection. And Faith says she feels the pull to be close to her sons. Her horse is buried there. How do you reconcile that? And so it is a big thing for her to stay at her ranch, it seems. Um,
Yeah.
And I can understand that for sure, but it's what it seemed to me
mhm.
like Faith is consistently trying to give him reasons not
Mhm.
to choose her.
Yes.
And it's like she's like, I'm not like every other woman, and like, oh, I'm like been thinking about you, but like I'm like
Yes.
worried that you're
Like,
not
let
thinking
me
about me
get
anymore.
this out of the way so that you don't choose me because this is me.
Yeah.
It's a
It's
self-sabotage type of thing.
Yeah,
Like,
I really feel like she's just like, yeah, I'm not gonna leave my children. My horse is buried here. It's like you don't probably don't like this, and you don't want like. I'm like, why is she trying to shoot or kill her relationship before it's even really had an opportunity to begin? So, I'm wondering how Gary is going to be taking this.
Yeah. Um,
Realistically,
so we see that Faith's friend, sister, and sons and grandchildren are there waiting for them, and they talk about her entrance, how she came on the motorcycle, and like came out of the helmet and shook her hair, and that she got the first impression rose. And her sons and family are so excited. And one of her sons says, "I knew it, I called it." Um, and he said, but it wasn't the motorcycle, it was the look in her eyes for him. And again, remember I said last week I hadn't saw the connection, but I will say
This is a reminder.
this
Organize Christmas list.
this is
Sorry for not
like
letting you.
this is like this
I was
is
like, what's
like
Lucas saying?
yeah, this is like so like you could just see it now. Like I guess now that it's like them actually being able to spend more time together, you actually see what they were seeing in each other, right? Um and her sister, it says she's the older sister and she's very protective of Faith. Faith had a hard life, which we heard about last week. And her sister says, but she's never seen this feeling of safety in her sister's eyes. And she's like, "Do you feel safe with him?" And she's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Do you feel like you're in love with him?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm falling for him hard." And her sons talk to Gary and they say she falls hard and fast, which is so funny because that doesn't seem like what we've been seeing of her. It feels like the opposite, where she's like fighting it with Gary, right?
Well, maybe
And
because she knows she falls hard and fast, so she's trying to like slow it down.
yeah, and they said if she's not caught, it can be hard. And so they ask him if he's falling in love with her, and he says, "Yeah, I think I am," which is totally different than what he said to Teresa's daughter. Totally different. Um,
Mhm.
Gary talks to Faith's sister and she says she's shocked at how open her sister is, but it has confirmed that he can be trusted with her sister's heart, and he reassures her that he can. She says they seem so in love, and Gary brings his whole heart to everything and it's so authentic. And that's what we've been seeing of Gary the entire time. And it's so funny to like see all the families really kind of confirm like what we've been seeing on Gary's season is this Gary that they got as well. And it's also nice,
Right.
you know what I mean? I'm glad that they nobody was like, "Oh, I don't like him." Everybody was like, "Oh, I like this guy." And I think there were people who came in like ready not to like him, but yeah, they all got Gary, which I love.
Right.
Um,
So
and
what's Sabu saying here, though? He might have some issues as former Chris.
I don't know.
Farmer Chris, farmer, not former. Okay, Farmer Chris. Oh, I guess maybe because I was thinking of Chris. What's his last name now?
Souls.
Souls. Yeah, I wasn't a fan personally, but like, was it the whole farm idea? Like, not people not wanting to come and live on the farm? Because I can't remember what Chris's issues were. He
Yeah,
couldn't
you would
find
have to
someone to
tell
live
us,
with him.
Dabu. I'm not even sure.
Oh, you didn't see this season? Maybe.
I might have saw pieces of that season, but not that entire season.
Sorry, so I thought it said former. I was like, what, Chris Harrison? I was like, I thought it was
Oh,
some T, but yeah, Farmer
well,
Chris. Yeah.
Chris Harrison and Laura Zima got married this weekend or
I
Oh,
saw that.
last week. Yeah, so
I saw that.
they had two different ceremonies, so good for them. Um, yeah, so he says he has to go and to take care of her while he's gone. And they're like, "What? Do you have to go?" And he's like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, you're going to another hometown. Well, just cancel that one. You guys are so in love. Like it just confirms it to me." And they look into each other's eyes and they exchange "I love yous." And he drives away and she says, "It
He
really
said it
feels like they
first.
could be together." Yeah. That, like everything to me confirms that he has really deep, strong feelings for Faith. I don't think this is like made up in his head. And like I said, I glad I went back and watched last week's episode because I didn't see anything, but I do see it. I do see it. I do see it.
Yeah.
I do see it, but the insecurity part of how Faith is acting is making me less sure about it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so I don't know if Gary's going to pick up on that, or like if he's going to just like push through and be like, no, I know that she's the one.
Yeah.
Like, let me make her feel more assured. So I'm not sure.
Yeah. I think the concerns are if she can be confident in what they have, or
Oh my God, V, what V has to say. I have to agree. I have to agree.
B says, I'm sorry, but Gary kissing in front of the family was cringe. The poor grandkids.
Yes, I felt the same way. I felt the same way. I
Agreed.
did.
I was
I
like,
think,
why? Oh my God, it's a little bit too much of an intimate kiss in front of the
Them
people.
kids are like, ugh. They
I-
might have never even seen their nana with a man, and then you're kissing. Like,
Ah,
what is going on?
what's that face? I don't know about that. But yeah, I didn't even think about it. Didn't see
oh,
it.
I remember. I definitely remember seeing him. Be like, ooh.
He would
Um,
never do that with Teresa. He would never do that with Teresa.
No.
No.
I don't think Teresa. I think it's all about what you would, because like he was in the street with Leslie, like up
I
like
know.
naked up
They
against a
acting
dang
like
building,
teenagers.
like that's what I'm saying. Like there's just like the differences, right? Like so. Anyway, so Leslie is last, and she is in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I for some reason thought she was from LA. When she said she dated Prince, I thought she meant like she was out in LA and met him. I didn't realize she lives in Minnesota, like Prince. And so, yes, she is from Minneapolis, Minnesota. And Gary says he's trying to resign himself to his feelings for all three women, and all he can say is that he has a Teresa box, a Faith box, and a Leslie box. And this is basically how he has like basically resigned himself to. Yeah, I'm probably just like in love with all of them, but when I'm with this one person, it just feels right, and when I'm with that person, it just feels right. And like because otherwise like that morality of like this is not right, this is not right, like how can I keep going? So um he says he has a strong connection with Leslie, and he does sit down with Leslie, and she says that he is going to meet her three kids, her three grandkids, and her brother. And her brother Stuart is special in another way because when she was 16, her dad dropped her off at school and never came back. Her brother drives up and says to get in the car, and she says, "No way." She's waiting for dad, and he says, "I'm your dad now." And she said her dad had went home and passed away. It sounded like she was going to say more. Did you think it was more
Suicide.
to the
I
story?
was thinking
Yeah.
it seemed like
Suicide. Yeah.
Suicide?
mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought too. That's what I thought too. And she said that he took care of her. He is he is a very good person. Her brother, he is a mensch, and she feels like when she met Gary the first time, she thought the same about Gary. He is a mensch. She does say he's a mensch on the bench.
I really like her flirtiness though with him.
I
Like even
do.
in this kind of sad story,
Yeah.
like she just like, she kind of turns it around and makes it a little and like a little inside joke there. So now like
Right.
she could be like, "You're my mensch" or whatever. Like that can be something that can come
Yeah.
up again. That's kind of special between them. And
Yeah.
so that's one of the indicators for me why I think he's most drawn to Leslie right now. Is this like they just have a little she just has a flirtiness that I think
Mhm.
he's drawn to and is endeared by.
I just feel like with Leslie, although we have seen her in periods and moments of insecurity, she does have a confidence that is not a facade confidence. It is a confidence, right? And so she can bring this energy to the situation that I feel like is a little different. It's kind of like melding a little bit of Faith, a little bit of Teresa, in that she also had a hard life, but we're not getting that full story till now when he arrives to the hometown, right? Because
Right.
that is not just her
Her
story.
selling point.
That is not what is going to be stopping her from um falling in love with her, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, I agree. Dabu says Chris lived in Iowa, and Becca, Tilly, Caitlin, and Andy weren't trying to live there. Oh,
Yeah, none of them were. No, nobody was trying to live there.
I
okay.
I
mean,
remember that. Nobody was trying to live there.
maybe it's because they really knew deep inside that they didn't
They didn't
want
want
Chris.
to be with Chris. Yeah, that's what I would think. Cause my whole thing is, if I mean, as long as there's no other deciding factors, if you go and be if you go and be with somebody, go be in Iowa. Like I don't get it. I don't understand.
But remember, you said that you wouldn't want to move for somebody, so
I wouldn't want to move for somebody because I have 3 kids. If I didn't have, if that was, I mean, literally, if it
yeah, yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
a factor, I would contemplate it. But I have 3 children that I share custody with every
Mhm.
other week. So me leaving here and moving with someone
Would
else,
be hard too.
it,
Yeah,
and I'm the constant in their life. Like,
right.
yes, he's
Mhm.
their dad, but like when he decides to go off and live life, I got to be here, right?
I hear
Right.
So,
that.
but that's the only thing that would stop me. But I feel like if I had no kids,
You're
no,
moving on that farm with Chris Souls?
sure, a farm? Are you kidding?
No, it's still no.
I make him make a barn, and I would have parties. Like, come out to the farm,
No
guys.
one lives in Iowa to come to the parties, Tanisha.
They
I'm
come
not.
and fly
I
out
don't know if I'm
to
going to make this
Iowa.
back.
I would
Where
make
is
it.
Iowa?
Uh, I would make it a destination. Sorry, people would be flying out to Iowa.
Ah! I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
The
This would
Iowa
have to be
State
some
Fair?
epic
Are you
barn
kidding?
parties for me to fly to Iowa. No.
It had to be.
Iowa is actually a little bit south of Minneapolis, Minnesota. So,
It's not that far from
between
us.
Chicago and Missouri. So not too far, and basically
East Coast.
direct middle of the country.
Hmm.
So, but yeah. So, where were we? Uh, her brother, it does say that he is worried about his sister falling in love with someone she just met, and
Mhm.
her daughter is worried she will get heartbroken. And so, coming into this, I I started to see really like all that fragility that we've been seeing with Faith. Leslie has a lot of it. Either that or her family is overprotective, but I felt like it was more that there's a lot to that Leslie has been through that we don't know, right? And
Right.
that it probably is a lot more concerning to men, maybe a lot of abusive relationships or whatever possible, because she did say that she did not have a good picker, she didn't pick the right men. And so yeah, like her family is concerned for her. And then we look and we see that the grandchildren are the grandchildren from the preview. And she has, I think, some of the youngest grandchildren, because there was like a little baby, and then 2 that looked about like maybe 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cute.
And her family knows that they asked her how she's doing because they know that it bothers her about the other women.
Of course. But like, they're definitely egging these kids on, giving them a little bit too much information. They knew too much of her business.
Oh yeah, they're like at the end when they're like, so what is your 5-year plan? And what is your intention? So like, who
With
prepped
our
them?
nana. What are your intentions with our nana?
And they can see though that she's happy, but they are still very worried about her getting heartbroken. Chloe says it would kill her to see Leslie make it this far and then it ending in heartbreak. And she says that her mother is her best friend, and she could see that they are perfect together. Um, and the grandchild uh the grandchildren think that he would fit in with them, and he confirms that he loves Leslie to them. And these are things that like concern me, because I'm like, you're saying this, and I'm like, and then if you dump her, then it's like, oh my god, like like you told the kid, but
Well,
but
why is he doing that?
I don't know.
Because like he could easily just not say. He could say exactly what he said about Teresa.
Right.
I mean, like,
I
you
don't
know, it's hard
understand
for me
why
to
he started
understand.
saying it. I
Not
don't
So
to the
understand, and especially to the
kids.
kids. Like he has to take the kids off and have his own special conversation with the kids, and then to tell the kids that kids hold on to that. Like
Not
I
to
don't
the
know why he
kids.
did that.
Yeah, I was so, it was just, I was like, no, don't do that. So Stuart again says he doesn't want to see her get her heart broken again, but he sees that Gary is so out the box from what she usually dates. And Gary says, well, is that a good thing? And he said, yeah, it's actually a really good thing. And so Gary said, and this is the other thing that we didn't see so far. He said, well, if I and Leslie came to you like and asked if I could marry her, what would you give us your blessing? And he said, if you both came to me, it would be my pleasure.
Yes,
And
and he didn't say that to anybody
he
else.
didn't say that to anybody else. And
But
he loves that she is connected so much to family. And I think this is also something that he didn't realize as well, because again, because Leslie is a little more sexually forward. We know she said that her children are everything, but I don't think he realized how like much of a real grandma, your real mom, that she really is really
right,
connected to her family. Like, yes, we see Leslie the dancer or whatever, but that's just a piece of her, and it feels like the real piece is this family woman that is the matriarch, really, of
right,
her family.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have the most fun with Leslie.
Me too.
Like,
yeah,
I think that she just there like I do think that he's very attracted to Faith. I think that he has a comfortability with Teresa,
Hmm.
but I feel like he's just like kind of lights up when he's
Yeah.
around Leslie. Like
Yeah.
from the time
I
when
think so
he's like
too.
whispers some sweet nothings into my hearing aid, like
Right,
like from that moment, like she just kind of keeps him on his toes and like it's flirty and it's not about him making Faith feel better about herself. And you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's just
right.
like they're
Yeah.
just having a good time together.
Yeah.
And it just seems lighter and it just seems like something that he's gonna want to pursue for the rest of his life. So
Yeah,
I'm all
I
in on
agree.
Leslie.
I can see them traveling. I can see them like going camping. I can see them just having like really comfortable nights out, but then also like going out on the town and having a night out on the
Dancing.
town. Yeah, like that is the difference between, I think, the other two and Leslie. I can see him having a full rounded like life, and I think that's what he's used to.
And it
Yes,
would
and
be
you know what?
effortless.
And I think what he found out also on the with her family is that even though she doesn't lead with having a hard life, I still can come in and be a knight in shining armor.
Hmm.
I just do it in a very subtle way that she's gonna recognize and she's gonna understand, and it's gonna be, and her family's gonna see it. Everybody else might not see it, but I know that I'm different. They're telling me I'm different.
Right.
I still came in and saved her, so I can still be the knight in shining armor. You know what I mean? It's just that she doesn't lead with it. Like he found that out too. So that's another thing because that's important to him. He wants to be the knight in shining armor. So he like, I can still be that. And the kids, they want me to be their papa. He wants that. He wants those kids. I think that's why he tells them so much because he wants so badly for them to be like, because I think he likes kids and stuff, and I think he wants like them to be like, oh, we
Hmm.
want him to be our papa. So again, he's coming in to save the day. The kids don't have no papa. I gotta come in and save them and give them a papa. I'm gonna be a good one too. And so I think that he feels like she checks all the boxes. And
Yeah, and
so
I think with
She
him
just
as
wants to
well,
see
like
it
his
too.
his grandchildren are older, so like
right,
they these younger, going in with these younger grandchildren, he doesn't he's past that age now with his I think he has two granddaughters, right?
right.
So He's had no grandsons, like,
Yeah.
so yeah, like, this would be kind of like not starting over, but just like something new,
Starting
something
new.
fresh. Yeah. And so she says, listen, I'm in love with you, and I cannot imagine my life without you. And he tells her he loves her, and they are literally outside in the middle of Minneapolis kissing, in PDAing it up, and I was like, ooh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he just did that little bit of extra, like, I think he likes that. Like, he can just grab her and, like, kiss her out in public, and hold her hand and go dancing, and I think that that's what she brings to the table. So
Yeah.
he does say that the rose ceremony is tomorrow. He's terrified. He's in love with three women. He doesn't know what he's going to do. Back at the Bachelor mansion for the rose ceremony, Gerry says this will be the most painful of all rose ceremonies. And this is the other thing too, like, when you build this up in your head that this is like the most scariest situation, this is going to be terrifying, this is going to be hard, it's going to be heartbroken, um
Makes it harder.
it makes it harder, and I think that's what happened. He says he feels equally as attracted, equally as connected to all three women. He doesn't know how to decide. The ladies arrive. Leslie says, I'm uneasy. Hometowns went great, but doesn't know what the future holds. She tells Jesse how Gerry told her he loves her. And again, like, I think that's the only one that got to say that to Jesse, that they edited in, that he told her that he loves her. And Faith tells Jesse that she told him that she loves him, and feels validated. She items being with Gerry is great, doesn't know what the future holds. And Teresa says that it was comfortable and great to have Gerry with her in her hometowns. So Rose call out first. Rose
Hold
goes
on. Oh,
to.
hold on.
Mhm.
Sorry to cut across you, but Teresa also says, I made it very clear my feelings for him and let him know that I was in love with him, and I have not heard it back from him.
Oh, I
She
didn't hear that
she
part.
she says that to Jesse, like, she makes that clear. It's like they made sure to let us know, like, he has not confirmed that he feels the same way about me. So
Mhm.
it was showing us the comparison. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
these other two feel validated. They've expressed their feelings. He's expressed back. She is saying, I've told him, made it very clear, and I have not heard it back from him.
Mhm. Right.
So,
I agree, but again, he also says he's in love with her, so I don't know what they want from
right,
us.
but she hasn't heard it. She has not.
She has
She's the
her.
one walking into the. She's the only one walking into the rose ceremony that has not heard it.
Yeah. So I don't know. Um. So then Gerry starts crying, puts the rose down, asks for a minute. Wait, did I say who the co-op was?
No,
Leslie first, yeah.
It first was Leslie. And then he says he's torn up. He says that he feels like he's going to throw up, and having to send someone home right now is gut wrenching. And we are left at a cliffhanger. And we do see that the next week he knows that what he wants to do, he just does not want to do it. And that
So
was where we left off.
I'm curious. So I think I still believe that he chooses Leslie in the end. And I'm wondering
Hmm.
if he's actually going to choose Teresa this time around, because he doesn't want to take Faith to the next round and break
Hmm.
up with her. It's just going to be a little bit easier to break up with her now,
Hmm.
just because I know he feels like like he could just blame it on not sure about the living situations and the ranch and the house. Like, he might be able to
right,
just say, like, you know, seeing our lives mesh together, I just didn't see it working. But if he
Right.
brings
right.
her to the next round and breaks up with her, it's kind of like it'll just be worse on him, I think. And so I feel that he might think it might be easier to break up with Teresa the next round, just because she is so kind and accommodating and like understanding, that I think it will be easier for him to break up with her in the next round. So I kind of think that that's might be the way that it goes. Obviously, I think that he has more of a connection to Faith, but I wouldn't be surprised if he takes her out this time around, simply for the fact that it would be harder for him to do it the next time around.
Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
that. I said that. I said that I see that this her insistence on him being on the ranch might be the thing that him being like, you know what, I like while we have this great connection, um because that is seems to be her, how do you say it, uh like that's her
She's gonna
definite.
die on this hill. Like
Yeah,
that's her. Yeah.
that'll make it easier for me to have a reason.
Well, and we're saying about the fact that it might be a self-fulfilling prophecy here, like she
Yeah,
doesn't think that she's lovable, she doesn't think that she can get the guy, she doesn't think that she's different than everyone else. Why would he choose her? And
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome.
I think so too. So, because
And
at
I'm not
first,
saving you. I'm not saving you if I'm coming to live with you. Like I haven't saved you. I'm not your knight in shining armor, and I'm coming to live with you. I don't know. It just doesn't go with, I think, kind of how he likes to do things. I just don't think.
I don't think it's so much of that, but I just don't think. I think at that point, it's the lifestyle is not matching because it's like her way or the highway ish, like right, like her lifestyle has to prevail over his because like I said in the beginning, is there a pickleball team near their child? Like, how does he bring him to where they live? Right. So you're taking him away from his friends and family. Fine, if that's what he decides to do, but just his lifestyle. Is it possible to meld his lifestyle into hers? I don't know. Oh,
I think Minneapolis will probably have a pickleball team.
yeah.
yeah, no, there's pickleball teams everywhere.
Yeah. So, but I'm just saying. So, listen, guys, I like this show. I think they did a really good job. I worry for Gary. I don't know if he bought into the Bachelor nonsense because like he was throwing these I love yous all over the place and to children, to
Very.
kids, to everybody, and I was shocked. Anyway, so that is it for us today. Anybody have anything to tell the people?
Well, we're going over to my channel right about now to go talk about Bachelor in Paradise, this most recent episode, which I think is the best episode of the season so far.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to be chit-chatting about that and maybe about some things happening in the Twitter world. Should be
Mhm.
fun to get in on that. So yeah, hop over to Reality Wellness with 3 S's and we will start chatting about VIP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, as always, follow me on speaking of Twitter, follow me on Twitter because you see me cussing out Bachelor contestants where necessary. But yeah,
I've gotten on the Chantel train. I think it's Leslie. I've gotten on her train. I think it's
I mean,
Leslie.
unless it's a big old fake out for us, but like, I don't know. I just don't know
I,
if I see that.
I will say, dear Shandy says it correctly and said it even with charity season. If Faith is the one, they have not really shown us enough of their journey and connection in order for her to be the one. Whereas I feel like they have, even though she got the first impression, whereas which yes, but even though they have with Leslie, and that is kind of what we saw with Dalton and Charity. Like
Yeah.
you just it was a Charity and Dalton love story. Like
Yeah.
what, regardless if we wanted it to be Xavier because they had a great chemistry, or some people wanted it to be Joey because it's Joey. It was a Dalton and Charity love story, and I think this possibly it might be a Leslie and Gary love story, and I can't say I would hate it. I really liked it. So
Yeah, me too.
all right, guys, thank you for joining us. We're headed over to Chantel's channel. Join us for BIP. And if you have not followed me, Come on, subscribe. I am covering Love Island Games. I am finishing
I
up
just caught
Big
up on
Brother.
that.
Yeah,
I'm not caught up yet. People have been asking me to cover it though too, so I don't know what's happening.
yeah, I've been covering it after the show every night, like I was doing with Love Island USA. And then because pretty much after this, that's all I'm covering. And I'm covering Traders Canada. I will be back tonight at 8 p.m. with Janelle Michelle to talk Traders Canada, the last two episodes. And in the future, I'll be covering Twin Love on Amazon Prime with the Bella Twins. So head over to Chantel's channel now. We're going to talk VIP. Thank you for joining us. Love you guys.